Welcome to Soulful Sounds and Inspiration, where we share faith, hope, and the Word of God to inspire and uplift your spirit. Join us on this journey of faith.
What do an ancient tent of worship and the sleek iPhone have in common? More than you think. Watch until the end to see why this mystery matters. The divine design. Why God's tabernacle matches the iPhone's proportions. When Apple launched the first iPhone in 2007, few could have imagined that the sleek, minimalist design of the device might share a connection with an ancient, holy structure, the Tabernacle of Moses. However, a peculiar theory has emerged, suggesting that the dimensions of God's tabernacle, as described in the book of Exodus, align strikingly with the proportions of modern technology. Could this be a coincidence, or does it point to a deeper, divine blueprint? The Exodus blueprint Samuel Adler was not a traditional archaeologist. With a degree in ancient architecture and a fascination with modern design, he often found himself chasing strange connections between the past and present. His latest obsession, the Tabernacle of Moses. The portable sanctuary described in the Bible had captivated scholars for centuries. Built by the Israelites during their journey through the wilderness, the tabernacle was a sacred space where God's presence dwelled among his people. Adler sat hunched over ancient texts and 3D renderings in his dimly lit apartment in Jerusalem. The tabernacle's dimensions were meticulously recorded in cubits, 30 by 10 cubits for the main structure. Converting this to modern measurements, the tabernacle's ratio was 3:1, eerily close to the 19.5:9 aspect ratio of most smartphones, including the iPhone. Could this be a stretch? Adler muttered to himself, running his fingers through his unkempt hair. Or is there something here? Divine proportions determined to validate his theory, Adler reached out to Dr. Miriam Cohen, a professor of religious studies and a leading expert on ancient Jewish architecture. "So you're telling me God had an iPhone?" She laughed when Adler explained his theory over coffee at a bustling cafe. "Not exactly. But what if the design principles of the tabernacle were part of a universal code? One that even modern technology unknowingly taps into." Cohen's laughter faded, replaced by a thoughtful expression. "You know, the tabernacle wasn't just a tent. It was a microcosm of the universe. The Hebrews believed its design mirrored divine order. Maybe what you're seeing is a kind of sacred geometry." They decided to collaborate, delving into ancient texts, examining design principles from both ancient and modern sources. They discovered that the tabernacle's design not only aligned with the iPhone's proportions but also fit within the framework of the golden ratio, a mathematical principle found throughout nature, art, and architecture. Patterns of the divine. As their research progressed, Adler and Cohen unearthed more connections. The tabernacle's inner sanctum, the Holy of Holies, was a perfect cube, similar to the geometric harmony Apple often pursued in their designs. The placement of the cherubim over the Ark of the Covenant echoed the symmetry seen in tech interfaces. Their findings began to attract attention. Some hailed it as a breakthrough, while others dismissed it as conspiracy theory fodder. Adler and Cohen decided to present their research at a symposium on ancient architecture. The academic world braced for controversy. Revelation and backlash. The symposium hall buzzed with anticipation. Adler took the stage, Cohen by his side. As they presented slide after slide of comparisons, the room's energy shifted from skepticism to intrigue. Whether by divine inspiration or human intuition, design principles have a way of repeating through history, Cohen concluded. After the presentation, they were met with a flood of questions. A few voices were harsh, calling their research pseudoscience, but many were curious. A tech journalist approached them. "If what you're saying is true, do you think Apple did this intentionally?" Adler shook his head. "I don't think so. But maybe, like the craftsmen of the tabernacle, they were guided by an unseen hand, an echo of divine design." The mystery persists. The story spread, capturing the imagination of believers, designers, and conspiracy theorists alike. Adler and Cohen's work became a documentary, then a book. They continued their research, exploring other ancient structures, finding the same patterns. Was it proof of a divine blueprint, or merely the result of humanity's innate attraction to harmony and proportion? The mystery remained, a tantalizing reminder that sometimes the line between ancient and modern, sacred and secular, is thinner than we think. In the end, the truth may not have been clear, but the journey had opened minds to the possibility that, perhaps, the divine could be glimpsed not only in holy texts and sacred spaces but also in the palm of your hand. Throughout history, sacred architecture has often embodied divine principles, blending spiritual symbolism with meticulous design. One fascinating mystery lies in the proportions of God's tabernacle, as described in the Bible, and their surprising alignment with modern technology. Specifically, the proportions of the iPhone. This uncanny parallel invites exploration into ancient wisdom, modern design, and the potential convergence of divine inspiration and human ingenuity. The tabernacle, constructed by the Israelites under God's instructions to Moses, Exodus 25-27, was a portable sanctuary that housed the Ark of the Covenant. Its design was highly specific, with dimensions given in cubits, an ancient unit of measurement. The rectangular structure of the tabernacle, approximately 30 cubits long, 10 cubits wide, and 10 cubits high, translates to a ratio of 3:1. Interestingly, the iPhone's design, with dimensions typically close to a 3:2 ratio, echoes this ancient proportion. While not an exact match, the similarity is striking, considering the vast temporal and cultural gap between them. One possible explanation for this similarity lies in the universal appeal of certain design principles. Both the tabernacle and the iPhone embody aspects of the golden ratio, approximately 1.618:1, which has been associated with aesthetic harmony. This ratio appears in nature, classical architecture, and art, suggesting that human attraction to these proportions might stem from a deep, perhaps divinely imparted, sense of beauty and order. The tabernacle's design was intended to reflect heavenly realities. God instructed Moses to make everything according to the pattern shown on Mount Sinai, Hebrews 8 verse 5. Apple's design philosophy, championed by Steve Jobs and Johnny Ive, similarly emphasizes simplicity, elegance, and an almost spiritual user experience. Another layer of mystery is added when considering the functional parallels. The tabernacle was more than just a structure. It was a conduit for divine presence and communication. It housed sacred items, such as the ark, the menorah, and the altar of incense, all with their own symbolic dimensions and purposes. The iPhone, a modern technological marvel, also serves as a tool for connection and communication, albeit in a digital sense. Just as the high priest would enter the Holy of Holies to commune with God, modern users often find themselves absorbed in their screens, accessing information, connecting with others, and seeking guidance, albeit through technology rather than spirituality. While it would be speculative to suggest a direct, mystical connection between the tabernacle and the iPhone, the comparison highlights the timeless human quest to create objects that bridge the material and the transcendent. Whether through sacred spaces or sleek devices, people continually strive to connect with the divine, express creativity, and find meaning. The architectural mystery of the tabernacle's proportions and their resonance with modern design underscores the enduring influence of divine archetypes on human innovation. Ultimately, this convergence of ancient sacred architecture and modern technology invites reflection on how the divine blueprint may manifest in unexpected places, reminding us that the pursuit of harmony, connection, and transcendence is a thread woven through all human endeavors, whether in a desert sanctuary or the palm of our hand. Was this divine design or just a coincidence? Tell us what you think in the comments.